Where the black midnight trees end, the dotted sky begins, and the man walks. I wrote these words a lifetime ago as the opening to my first novella, Reverie of Change. It was self published through Amazon after 2 years of writing and rewriting, and ultimately, it flopped. When I began writing the story, it was 2015, and I was 1 year out of high school working a go nowhere job at some local restaurant chain. I was making new friends and grieving young romance. Everything around me was a storm, and it felt like my old life was dying. I had always been a writer with half complete stories and poems strewn across my hard drive, but it was hard for me to stick to one idea. Thinking about how everything kept changing, though, catalyzed something in me. I sat down one night and started typing the last words, the last story of my childhood. It was about a wandering knight with a strange gift. His name was Gaith, and around him, things were always changing. Routines would be broken, habits would die, and the world would spin a little too fast. I was a kid who spent a lot of time alone in the woods making up stories. In this particular story, Gaith spent many years wandering through forest and dale. Across rivers and logs, I would imagine myself a knightly hero. Gaith was the kind of hero I wanted to be, gentle and slow to anger, but with a quick blade and a brave heart. It broke my heart the day I realized it had been years since I'd wandered into the woods to tell myself stories for the last time. Without even realizing how much I was changing, I'd gone from the forests of my fantasy to a great big real world. At the same time, Gaith's story took him to a beautiful city of winding and twisting alleyways, surrounded on all sides by fields of golden wheat, and close enough to the sea that the smell of salt invaded every home. The city was strange and new. It challenged him in ways he never expected. It made him change. He and I had to grow up. My life never stopped changing, and I think I've been a new man every day I've woken up. I think it's a beautiful thing to always see the world with new eyes. Truthfully, no one but my family and a handful of strangers ever bothered reading the book. It sold no copies and still only sits at 7 reviews. By most metrics, it was an undeniable failure. It was never about renown or money, though. Reverie of Change is an artifact of a time in my life when everything felt life or death. It's a story between two ages, two states of being. It's a wonderful, imperfect time capsule of my transition from childhood into adulthood. And I think that's enough. Ultimately, this story ends the same way my reverie did, with 3 words that, for a little while in my 20s, meant the world to me.